So someone asked me, what is the difference between ICE check-in appointment and having an appointment with immigration court? These two events are completely different. Let's talk about court first of all. Having court is very formal. If you are in court, these are very formal proceedings. It's recommended that you have an attorney. If you do have an attorney, then your attorney and the judge communicates on your behalf. If you're in court, most likely you're in removal proceedings and you have a judge who's going to decide whether or not you are inside the United States legally or if you have a legal pathway to stay inside the United States. And you and or your attorney will have to make the argument that yes, you're here legally, or yes, you have a legal pathway to stay inside of the United States. It is mandatory that you are present in every single one of your court hearings. If you are not present, and then the judge can issue a deportation order, absentia, meaning, hey, you didn't show up to your court appointment, so here's your order of deportation. We're going to deport you. So it is very important that you make it to each and every one of your court hearings. It's not enough that only your attorney shows up for you. You too have to show up. So these hearings are very formal. It's recommended that you dress nice for these hearings, and of course it's recommended that you are represented because these are legal hearings and you must know the law. If you don't know the law, then hey, hire someone who does know the law to make the proper legal arguments on your behalf. As opposed to ICE check-in, which is less formal. It is scheduled with ICE, Immigration Custom Enforcement Agency. Your meetings are usually at the ICE offices, not in court, and it's less formal. So you're not meeting with a judge, you're meeting with an ICE officer. You can, of course, dress less formal, put on your jeans and a t-shirt. And the purpose of ICE check-in is so that the ICE officer can update your file. The way they do that is by verifying your information. If anything changed, like your home address, they check to see whether or not you're in compliance with any conditions that was written or given to you when you were paroled into the United States. And they may update your status. Let's say you filed for TPS and now you're a TPS holder, whereas you weren't before. They'll go ahead and update that. You do not need an attorney with you at ICE check-ins. If you do have one, great. If you don't, it's not a problem. Normally the conversation is really between you and the ICE officers. Again, they're just getting updated information from you. If you miss your ICE check-in, they could label you a fugitive or you can get arrested, but you do not get a deportation order. So as you can see, these two events are completely different. I do want to tell you though, now because of the Trump administration and because of their policies and what they would like to accomplish, mass deportation, I would highly recommend, even if you have an ICE appointment, to go with an attorney. Go with an attorney. Do not go alone. If you do not have an attorney, then I would highly recommend that you get one. Or at least find an attorney before you actually go in. Let your family know, hey, if something happens to me, if I don't come back, this is the attorney I want you to call on my behalf. Have an attorney waiting on your call, waiting on your family's call for you in case if you do go in for your ICE check-in and you get detained. Right now, the Trump administration, they are detaining a lot of people who's been in the United States for less than 2 years. They're using what they're calling expedited removal orders to deport these individuals. So if you do have an ICE appointment coming up, and it's been less than 2 years that you've been here in the United States, please go ahead and hire an attorney to go with you. Any family members that at that time does not have an ICE appointment, I would highly recommend that they do not go with you if they too have been in the United States for less than 2 years and they don't have proper status, because we don't want you to go for your own appointment and because your family's with you for support, ICE take all of you in, because that is what's happening right now. So I wouldn't want that to happen to you, of course. If you must go with someone that's a U.S. citizen. That way, too, if they detain you, and that U.S. citizen could go ahead and call that attorney that you picked before you went to the ICE appointment to represent you. If you have been here longer for 2 years and you have an ICE appointment coming up, I would highly recommend that you go with your I-94. That will show your date of entry, so they'll know, hey, this person's been here for over 2 years. If you're a TPS holder or whatever applications that you have with USCIS, if you have a receipt for those applications, bring those applications with you. At least it's going to show your ICE officer that, hey, you're here and you have a relief and you're just working on your relief. Do not go empty-handed. Have those information ready to show ICE. And of course, as always, during these times, if you too can afford an attorney, please have an attorney go with you. But if you've been here over 2 years, you are a little more protected than the individuals that haven't been here for over 2 years. And that's because they have that expedited removal weapon where they can deport anyone right now that's been here less than 2 years without any removal proceedings. So I just wanted to make sure that you all understand the difference between ICE check-in and having your court appointment, and if you go to ICE and if you do have an ICE check-in, what to expect and what you should bring with you. Rolanda Adolph with Adolph Law Group. If you have questions about immigration, ask and I'll answer. Have a good night.